Hey everyone, this is Fosri from Lucid Sight, here for our AMA Star Trek Picard event live stream, and we
Hey
got
everyone, this is
Hacks
Fosri from Lucid
online
Sight,
with us as well.
here for
What's
our
up?
AMA Star Trek Picard event live stream.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. You know what? I had the D Live window open and I heard myself give the intro. It was quite exciting, but it was like 10 seconds behind. Alrighty. So I am in Sol system here. I'm just right now hanging around the station, GFI home, and Axe, where are you at?
At GFI home.
Yeah. Do I see you?
I'm right outside the home station. I can see CSC Master on my.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh yeah. What are you pulling up in right there? Let's check it out.
Yeah, so this is the La Serena. So, hey, probably jumping a little ahead here, but this is one of the new, the last auction we're gonna have, the Star Trek event.
Oh wait, hold on. Give me a second. Sorry,
Yeah.
I can't actually. Are you cloaked, by the way?
I am not cloaked.
Oh.
Uh-oh, are we having bug on the screen? But you see me on the target window?
I can see you on the target window. Yeah, CSC Master. I can see you there, but
Oh,
when
you know what?
try and track, it's not working.
Yeah, 1 second. I gotta change the settings so you can see me.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? And I still have my standby screen up and running. Good stuff.
Yo, bye, Chuck. Laters.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, man.
Alrighty. So let's get this going.
I had myself muted on my stream. Thanks for that, Ryan.
That's fun. So everyone had to listen to you on our stream, but could see you on there. That's great. It's dual streaming time. Okay.
I know, right?
Alright, you should see me now. I was on. Let's see here. I'm coming back into the game.
Okay.
Let me turn on. Now that we're no longer live coming soon. Display. Alright.
How about now? Is that fine, or am I still too low? Ryan's just telling me I was a bit low. Alright, so.
Alrighty. Alright, I'm back into the game here.
Okay.
Hanging out at the station. Hopefully you see me. If not, we got fun bugs to fix today. There we go. Now I see you.
Okay, yep.
There you are. I'm gonna come by your ship there. Ooh, you're sporting the Enterprise D.
Yep. You know, Star Trek is on its way, right?
Yeah.
I'm loving this.
So I'm just giving a close look right now at the La Serena. This is the auction ship, so this is only going to be available to one user. Everyone else will have the Kepler generic version of the ship. Fun fact, the Kepler version, I don't think it was ever actually seen in the series, but it is available through the game, and this is the official Star Trek ship lore, exactly how they envisioned it. So this ship is tiny. It's our Intrepid class ship.
Yeah.
The final stats should be updated today. So I know right now for a while we've had 32 module slots. I believe that's going down a little bit. It's still going to be comparably better than the Loot Crate version, but it will have it won't be as powerful as we had currently. 32 for an Intrepid size. Seemed a little bit overkill, so we've been play testing these and balancing them out. You know, one thing we really want to do is make sure the balance is in line, so things aren't OP, but yet you feel the value of having one an auction ship and two just the Star Trek ships in general.
Yeah.
So we jumped right into the Star Trek stuff, but I'll maybe let you, Axe, take it off here. Any questions you have? Anything? We've made a lot of updates lately. We're coming out into basically what we're calling open beta, starting tomorrow. We have one more patch that's going to go live tonight to take care of a few more issues, but officially, I would say CSC is out of alpha. So we want to start getting users in, growing this game.
Yeah, I'm loving that. I mean, I'm just gonna kick it off straight away and talk about the event that's about to go down, right? Because this is what a lot of people want to find out. So if you just want to talk to us about the in-game events, that's
Oh,
about
sure.
to happen, right?
Yeah.
That would
Well,
be pretty cool.
yeah, absolutely. So Star Trek, this Star Trek CSC Picard event. This event is going to last 6 weeks. The 6 weeks starts from this Friday when we kick off the auctions at 11, and then at 1 p.m. the crate sales. So we split the timing up there, so if you want to participate in both, you don't need to rush between two different screens.
Hmm.
The event over 6 weeks is going to have events in game that are going to kick off. So tomorrow, the auction will kick off and ships will start coming in. But on June 4th, Thursday, the Rift's going to open up in EQ Pegasi, and there's going to be a bunch of new things for players to do in that system. We are
Oh,
also going to go with EQ Pegasi going PvP no zone, similar to Soul, just to keep it safe and balanced for all new users coming to participate. Rift Station is going to be the primary hub for all the events that are going to happen.
okay.
What you're going to get to do is go to Rift Station or any other station in the EQ Pegasi system, and there might be some other stations outside of EQ Pegasi that'll have Star Trek specific event missions. These missions could be deliveries, turn in some ore, go destroy some drones, go destroy some pirates, and as a reward for these missions, you're going to collect shards. Those
Nice.
diversion shards, just like we had last time, will
Yep.
then be able to be turned into a new type of mission. This new type of mission will be at the Rift Station, and it will let you turn in a quantity of shards 10, 20, 100,000, whatever the quantities end up being for a
Yeah.
chance of one reward displayed on the mission reward table. So the mission reward table you'll notice for the special mission will have percentages, and it'll show you the chance of getting certain rewards. Using more shards will give you more rolls and better odds, so up to you, the player, to decide as you're doing these events throughout the next 6 weeks, do you want to save all your shards for one really big roll, you want to do a bunch of little rolls, and see if you get one of these rewards. And the rewards could be anything from modules, ships, to even a Star Trek event crate. So it'll be really
Wow.
exciting. There'll be a lot of gameplay aspects of this event, more than we had last time. And then along with that, we're going to have several global events. These are going to be unannounced up till the point they happen. So you're going to have to check back daily, watch that newsfeed, and see. Uh, Borg cubes will be incurring into the CSC universe. They'll be appearing through rifts at random areas, and they will be the full-size cube, not just uh, the the
Tactical
yeah,
one.
yeah. The full-size tactical cube, not the supply crate version. So the
Oh,
supply crate version
okay.
is scaled down. It's about 50% of the size. The auction version of the cube is full-sized. And you know what? Probably a good time to show you that auction version. So I'm just gonna get
Yes.
dock and bring that cube out. I'm getting tired of feeling this smallest ship here.
Yeah. Show us the goodies. Show us what we want to see.
I'm going to stand by here while I dock and print out the ship.
Yo, I can't wait to see how big that cube is compared to the D, right? Because
It
the D is a pretty big ship in its own right.
Yeah, so I will be showing just the massive board cube today.
Okay.
I should have probably got one of the crate versions. The crate version is still pretty big.
Mhm.
It's a good size ship. It's roughly 50% the size. Fun fact here: we actually had to scale and change the internal layout of the hangar to fit the full-size board cube. So the hangar's slightly bigger. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but the internal geometry of it's larger. Another interesting thing, this board cube's actually the first ship that is too big to use local jump gates.
Wait,
So
what?
yes. So when you
So
try,
the restriction. Wow. Okay.
there's it's a size restriction. The restriction has actually existed. I'm back in, so let me share the video. This restriction has existed for a while, but we've never had a ship that's hit it. But jump gates have a circumference, and if your ship can't fit through it, you're going to get an error message saying you can't use it. So the large board cube, which will
Wow.
have a Q jump capability, will transwarp, since it's Borg. We'll have to transwarp to or use super jump gates. Super jump gates are substantially bigger and will fit this ship. So new cubes out.
Oh.
Uh, as you can see,
There
it's
is.
about the size of the station. It is a massive ship.
Wait. I can't. I'm not seeing you here. I can track you, but I can't see you. I think it's the same thing that happened.
Interesting. All right, let me reboot this on this. I'm gonna go standby real quick.
Holy. Cannot wait to see this.
I'm hiding it from you on purpose. That's exactly. This is not a bug. This is a feature, increasing the suspense.
Cloak device on that, or what? What's going on here? I didn't bring my disruptors, so I'll take you out of stealth.
It's a new type of cloak for sure. Interesting. I saw everyone else, and I even saw you. So let's see what's going on.
Oh, there's a few people pulling up outside the GFI home.
Okay. Yeah, I saw it was getting packed out there.
Yeah. Bunch of people coming. They want to see the cube as much as I do, right? I mean, because what could possibly happen is the winner of the auction cube could you know, just purchase it and you know, lock it away, right? And we'll never ever get to see it. So definitely need to use this as a great opportunity to actually see it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You definitely want to be able to see this one for sure.
Yeah. I just want to see how big it is, like seriously. Alright, so you're currently waiting.
Alright.
Patient.
I'm in. I see everyone popping in right now.
Oh my word. Wow. Holy. Look how big this is.
It's a massive ship.
Holy.
The comparison, we had the dreadnought still in the game, or someone was flying it, it's about the entire width of the length of the dreadnought's one size, 1,500 meters in every direction. So, you know, one interesting thing is this is the Borg, and I talked about this earlier in my impromptu stream. This is the Borg tactical cube. So in Star Trek lore, this is actually smaller than an assimilation cube. Assimilation cube is 3,000 meters across, so double its length, width, and height. Wow. So this is the smaller variation, and this was it was a cool cube. It's one of my favorites just from the Star Trek lore. We saw a lot of this in the Voyager series, so I was really happy that we were able to get this into the game and playable. It's gonna be cool. Even the smaller version looks awesome. It's gonna create for a good event. But as you can see on its size, it's going to be able to deal some damage here. We're going to need a lot of players to participate in the event to take this thing out. The auction version is not going to be as powerful, just to prevent a super OP ship from being out there. But the NPC ships that come in, you guys are going to need to deal some DPS. This is not going to be any dreadnought, easy one-shot dreadnought.
Is it going to be using its disruptor device as well, right?
Yes.
It comes in with an inbuilt disruptor also.
It comes in with inbuilt disruptor. It'll also be using Borg high-yield gravimetric torpedoes. This was recently added. Ooh, someone just went right through me. So it is a massive ship, and there's some technical challenges it being this massive. Like for CSC, you know, we have to be very careful on how we do collision avoidance, because we don't want to get users stuck. So we sometimes let things clip through just so no one ever has that problem. And this is typically done on MMOs, like and even EVE Online doesn't really have collision as a factor. But because this cube's so massive, you'll notice it a lot more, especially when you go through like belts. But yeah, that's just fun of the game here.
Is it, how difficult is it going to be to mine in a cube?
All the cubes are really slow. I mean, in terms of turn radius, being able to adapt the collisions. So you will have problems if you're trying to use the cube just for everyday mining. Again, ships are specialized. You want to use a mining ship to mine. This will be a pretty decent combat ship or showing off ship. It's going to be fun.
Pretty decent. This is going to be amazing.
It will be. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Enterprise E. We'll bring that out later. It's, you know, it was from the series that and the movie, not the series, from the last few movies, which was just awesome, and it's iconic. And you know, we used Picard as the inspiration for this event, even though we only have one ship. Specifically from Picard, we tried to pull other things that Picard was known to deal with throughout the series.
Yeah.
It's
Holy wow, man.
It's going to be a fun one for sure. Man, there's a lot of people around here
Of
checking out the
course.
cube.
I mean, this could be the only time we get to see it. So I mean, I don't blame him, man.
Yeah, this is pretty.
This is
Should probably close that chat. There we go.
yeah.
All right. Any other questions you got here for me? Let's go. So we talked about
Yeah.
the events. We talked about what's going to
Yeah.
happen. We're going to have cube incursion events, where it's going to be global, where players will have to come together to take these out. It'll
Yep.
drop reward loot for everyone who deals a certain percentage of damage. It's not going to be a high percentage, but you're going to have to participate. You shouldn't be able to just one shot from a shuttle and get anything.
Yeah.
Cool.
Also, I just wanted to ask about, just give people some like more info on like how the auction's gonna work, and like how was the destroyer auction? What did you guys learn from that? Is everything good to go?
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
talk
absolutely.
about
So,
that.
thank you everyone who participated in the auction this week. It was a last minute, pretty quick up, and we didn't give you guys a lot of notice. But what we figured was it would be a good idea to give our new auction system a test. So, we were built on Ethereum. We use blockchain technology. We've been working on ways to incorporate Ethereum into our marketplace and still stay in compliance with all our platform holders. So, as we're going through that, we decided to try out an auction system that's completely web-based this time around. And it ended up working perfectly. I mean, we had no transaction problems. The auction stopped exactly when it was supposed to. It rejected the transactions for bids that came in after the bid time was acceptable. There was actually one bid that came in right at the end for 15 ETH, but just missed that block flip. So the block went
that
to
15 ETH would have that would have sealed the deal, right?
that would have set a record. But congratulations to Vodka CCP. He definitely won this one and got. I mean, we only have 2 more of those ships in our vault. We don't have that many. Only 25 can be minted and have been minted and exist at all. So it's a rare one and has that great FF First Fleet insurance, which will ensure that you'll be able to play with it for a nice long period of time. But the auction system works differently from what we've seen in other platforms. So we did a lot of thought behind this, and we wanted to create an auction system that would work in a lot of different scenarios, and one that we could eventually even adopt into the game. So you send your ETH through the contract to this address, and when you do so, it adds you as a bidder in this event. So throughout the entire auction, all the ETH is collected. So if you bid 1 ETH now, and then a week from now someone bid 1.5 and you want to bid 2 ETH, you just have to send 1 more ETH through the contract using the bid button, and then it accumulates. At the end of the auction, we get to declare a winner. So we get to go through and verify, make sure it was legit. There is always a possibility that a bid comes in, but before a block gets mined, because of Ethereum, the way it works, a block gets mined whenever it gets mined. So it might get mined after the close time. So if a bid comes in and the timestamp that we have recorded isn't within the time frame that we had set up, then we call the bid over, and we basically pick the winner the last winner who made it in the timestamp. So we have some flexibility with the system where we're able to select the winner based on time. And this was mainly to deal with a couple things that we've seen in other Ethereum auctions. There's a lot of anti-sniping tech that's used in other auctions. If someone makes a bid in the last 5 minutes, it extends 5 more minutes. We decided in lieu of that to just go with a very hard deadline, be able to pick the winner that way.
I think that's pretty cool. It's it's like having a straight deadline.
Yeah, it's like gamifying Ethereum. We're on the blockchain technology anyways, right? So let's use it. Let's gamify this a little bit. Oh man, I kind of went far from the station. Everyone keeps chasing me with their lights. I don't know what to do about this.
No one is letting you go. Like everyone's just in awe right now, looking at this beautiful cube.
It actually has a pretty cool slipstream effect. Let me see if I could trigger it right here.
Show that off, please.
It's a little bit different from what you see with the standard ships. This little green hue kicks off. As you can see, the ship definitely isn't as fast as others.
But just then, that was moving pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, so back to the auction. So that's how it's going to work. So the first
Yeah.
auction is going to kick off tomorrow. We're going to do the Enterprise E. Followed shortly after, we're going to be doing the Borg Cube. Each auction will run independently. Once auction's done, winner's been declared, we'll trigger off the next one.
Yeah.
And so throughout the event, we'll have all 4 auctions this time around. And the crates and the in-game events will be live and active.
Nice. Okay. Another question about Star Trek, right?
Mhm.
And this was a thing in the community. The stats of the ships, are they final? The ones that we
Yes,
can
Nathan.
see, are they final right now, as it stands now?
As they stand right now, I think there is still a few more changes, but we will have a blog post going up later today, and that's going to be locked in. So when you see the post go up, we'll do a tweet, we'll send in social media, we'll update in-game news. That will go up, and then we'll have final stats. They're pretty close. There were a couple more things we were adding and changing to the Borg cubes that you'll see. We're adding a few more pre-built weapons. So the auction cube's going to get 2 disruptors and 2 high-yield photon torpedo launchers on top of its hard points, and I think we're just reducing the hard points by 1. And the supply crates are going to get one disruptor and 1 torpedo launcher. So it's going to get an extra weapon, and then we're going to knock down its hard points by 1 as well. But
that's also including the transwarp device, right?
Including the transwarp device, correct. I think right now I don't show the transwarp device on there, but it is included. Or I think it is on here. So the few more changes is as we've been playtesting and kind of getting to a final, we just want to make sure like the cube felt like a cube, all the other ships felt like they should be.
Yeah.
Cool.
I get that. That is pretty sweet. Okay. Well, thank you for that. So my next question, what I'm gonna move on to, I'm gonna take one from the community.
Okay.
Because they posted some questions, and the first one here is from Ryu the Dark, from the Gorn Guild. He says, are we going to see an ownership structure implemented in guilds / alliances pre 1.0?
Yeah.
And he gives a little example. Okay,
Go for the example, actually.
Okay, so it says, for example, the ability to issue shares as a guild or to issue shares as an alliance entity where guild entities can become shareholders. That's exactly what he put there.
Okay. Well, first thing, I'm going to swap into another ship here. So I'm just going to go to my standby screen.
Yeah. I don't come out using the special cloak this time as well.
Okay, I'll try not to do a special cloak this time.
Oh wow! When it goes into the station, that looks so cool.
Yeah, it has the custom green fade, which is a nice
I'm like kidding out right now. I'm so excited.
Our team did a phenomenal job, as they always do, on just the fidelity and the quality of these ships, especially the Borg Cube. It is pretty awesome. So back to that question. So one, we have a guild system already in the current client. We have it disabled just as we were adjusting how the UI works, and added some things like being able to reserve guild names. So some of the long-term guilds that have existed, we didn't want anyone coming and snipe them up. We are going to create a barrier to creating a guild, probably behind a GRP or GFC cost, just so no one's just sitting there creating a million guilds of random names. So it'll be we'll grandfather in the existing guilds, but new guilds forming will have to pay in to actually set up the guild formation. So kind of it works like a corporate charter almost.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds interesting.
One second, I'm just going to loading in.
Okay.
So in terms of ownership structure, so we've heard a lot about that, and what right now we're trying to figure out is twofold. It's one, player-created stations and how those are going to manage, and we're using the Proxima station as a great platform for testing and how to create a management system for that. And two is general ownership structure of guilds and like item inventories. So
Yeah.
you'll notice in a lot of MMOs, once you have guilds, you need to have like a guild vault, and then you could have officers that could assign certain qualities of items out. There's quite a bit of items to do. Unfortunately, I don't think all of them will be completely in by 1.0.
Yeah.
But we will definitely have a good amount of them there and ready that will let users be able to manage. And just like in any MMO and EVE Online, like, once you're in a guild, there's a level of trust between guild members. So it's never going to be
Yeah.
perfect. You're going to trust someone and give them your weapons or give them access to your ships. They're going to be able to steal it. And we're not going to
Yeah.
interfere with that. That's part of the game, unfortunately.
Uh-huh.
And fortunately, I mean, this is what creates a really cool dynamic environment in CSE. I mean, honestly, I want to spend hours just talking about the political intrigue. I mean, you're probably aware of this because you're in the Discord, but
Yeah.
I'm amazed, and I'm surprised at like how much people. And I'm back in, so I'm going to open it up here.
Yep.
So got the Enterprise E.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Holy, it is smaller than.
Oh, it is.
It's like considerably smaller than the D.
It's long, slightly longer, but it's not as
Yeah.
wide. And this
Yeah.
is just like it was in the series as well. In the movies, it is not as big. It's a Sovereign class, so it has less crew, and it's not as big as the Galaxy class ship.
Oh, so wait. So the Sovereign class is going to be a bit bigger than this.
No, this is
Oh, so
this is Sovereign class.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
sorry.
the difference between the auction ship and the supply crate ship is primarily the naming. So this
Name,
ship,
right?
if you
Yeah.
look in there, will have the Enterprise E. It will actually be named the Enterprise. It has a unique asset ID number, and it is the one of one. So
Yeah.
we learned some lessons from the last time we did this, and we decided, okay, unique asset IDs just create and make it easier for users to distinguish. And for the old series 1 of ones that we had, we're working on a system where on the targeting window, you're going to see a different icon for those.
Yeah.
So
I did.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was just gonna say I did like what you done this time around with the FF versions. Like you made them different compared to how it was in the last event, where the FF versions were like visually the same.
Yeah. So if we're taking some lessons. The biggest distinction, of course, is the Borg cube, but you'll also notice with when I bring out the Romulan Warbird, that one's actually really unique, and I hope like Star Trek fans appreciate. There is, I think, 1 or 2 episodes, actually no, only 1 episode where that ship ever shows up, the Tal Shiar version of the Romulan Warbird, and it's a slightly off green bluish hue, and we got that color down really well. And when you have them
Yeah.
side by side, you could tell from the sizing video exactly what it looks like. But that's a
Yeah,
beautiful ship, and that's a big ship. That is bigger than the Enterprise D, and that's per lore. I think you could fit an Enterprise D inside of its just wingspan.
Holy
So
crap!
that's a fun one to see.
Yeah, from
And you
that
know,
size of the video, I did notice that it was kind of big. I was like, wow, the Warbird looks massive.
I feel like I digressed. What was your question? We kind of like went sideways here.
Sorry.
So we were
that's not
talking
even happening.
about guilds. All right, so
Yeah.
guilds.
So we're talking about the ownership structure. Then question 2 was basically like a follow-up from the question. He basically says, are we going to see a taxation system implemented in guilds/alliances pre
Yeah.
1.0? For example, 4% taxation on guild members on GRP from missions.
Yes, I'm glad that you brought that one up because it's actually something we've been talking about. We have a framework of how we want that implemented, and part of the reason we held off on enabling guilds right away here is 1, members of the guild need to be able to elect into that, and 2, then guild management needs to be able to make the change to that and then apply that across the board. But yes, there will be a taxation system, because if you join a guild and you're getting the benefit of the guild should be able to set a taxation on your mission rewards. This is done in EVE and every other MMO, depending on structure. The trick here is, just like in every other MMO, if the guild all of a sudden changes the taxation from 5% to 100%, you don't want that to apply right away. And do you have that apply to every mission or only new missions? So there's a lot of these cases our design team's going through and trying to figure out like what's the best and correct approach for this. So yes, there will be a taxation system, so where guilds will be able to skim some of the rewards from missions, and basically going to a guild bank and vault, and that's a whole nother topic right there, guild bank and vaults, which won't be in this
Yeah.
first iteration. So initial iteration of guilds you guys are going to see probably in a week or so here is you'll be able to join a guild, you'll have guild chat, you'll have guild flags that are unique, and people will be able to distinguish each other from there. The rest of these features will roll out throughout the point 9 process. Now, by the way, since we're at point 9, you're going to notice we're going to be rolling out features, but we're going to be in point 9 for some time here. It'll be 9.2,
Okay.
9.3, 9.4, 9.5, and going forward.
Because you guys obviously need to make sure it's all good, right? Before
Yeah.
1.0.
Yeah, but effectively, I want to say, like, the game is feature complete at this point. We have every feature we want to launch with, minus a couple that we're going to talk about here in a second that you'll see roll out. Oh, and I did find a great video I wanted to share. So I'll bring that up here in a second. So we are feature complete minus the organic harvesting and the creatures, which are in game but currently disabled as we were doing some fine touches to those. But what you're going to notice coming here very soon, we're expecting this to be out, momentarily within the next day, 2 days, early next week, is more progression with the GFI missions. So I'm sure everyone's
Yeah.
now seen assignments and rank,
Yeah.
and you're probably wondering, what are assignments? What are rank? How's this going to work? Well, ranks are our ability of creating the first reputation system in CSC. It's almost slightly akin to like player level. So as you complete these assignments for GFI, your rank's going to go up. And as your rank goes up, you actually unlock more missions. Once the system rolls out completely, you'll be able to come back and check GFI assignments, and every day you're going to have 3 assignments randomly distributed to you from GFI. Those assignments will be based on your overall rank, and every GFI assignment will increase your rank, either 1 point, 10 points, 100 points, whatever it is. The higher rank you are, the better quality assignments you'll get, and some assignments could include things like ship rewards, rare blueprints, new technology, and when you get it for that day, you only have that day to complete it. If you don't complete it that day, then it's gone. You could accept it and hold it just like you could do any other mission, but you could, again, you're limited to 10 overall of the game, so it really encourages you to come back and check. Along with that, new players coming into the game right now, we've made a lot of changes recently to create a better playing experience. One with a basic tutorialization. 2, with the last update, we improved the SE ships and kind of made it more in line, but still not as great as the MP versions. But the next thing you're going to see is we have about 10 more missions coming out on the assignment track, which are going to be the start of the story arc in the game. So along with the random generated missions, you're going to see story-based missions that will help the user kind of progress through the game. And the first progression we're going to drive all users through is getting or crafting their first Corvette. And it's going to be a Corvette SE. And this is going to allow free-to-play players coming in or players that come through Steam with the $10 ship to have a direct path for success, like figuring out to get to the Corvette. Because what we've seen when we're looking at the data right now is once you get to a Corvette and then get to a Voyager, ideally a Voyager MP, you then have effectively about 100 to 130 hours of content in the game. You could complete most of the missions generated at the station, and you could work towards building better, more amazing items and discovering new tech levels. But to get there, we got to get users into a Corsair class, preferably a Voyager, but if not, a Corvette will do. And then that kind of unlocks the rest of the progression. After you complete that set of Corvette missions, you're going to have a new experience kind of open up. What's going to happen is you're going to notice new NPCs that are going to be at stations that have GFI rank locks. So based on your GFI rank, you'll see them appear, and they will create quest line missions. These are missions that will unlock other missions as you continue for different items. So if you want to get a Prospector SE, there's a whole quest line that you're going to have to complete to maybe get a blueprint for that, or maybe get the whole ship, depending on a whole bunch of different factors and how you move along. And with that, we're also going to be tying in the game narrative. So we have Castor Casey, which I've talked about before, You'll start seeing him more in the game. He's one of the main protagonists in the CSC universe and the base story lore. But you're going to see other characters come in, like the Admiral, who currently does the GFI tutorial. She's going to play a bigger part. And you're going to really start seeing the lore of the game kick out over these next few weeks. So it'll be an exciting time. There's a lot of content. We're doing a complete revamp on the current missions. So I'm sorry, but all the mission descriptions and titles are going to change. But they're going to be more aligned with the general lore of the CSE universe, which is going to be great.
Holy wow, Faz, the bomb that you just dropped just now, I'm in shock. What is going on? I'm loving this. I am loving this.
Well, we feel like it's going to really deepen the gaming experience and really make it more accessible. You know, to our Steam players and new players coming in. We're getting a good amount of new players coming in already, and we have seen that the tutorial helps. But there's a lot of stuff, as you know, in CSC. There's a lot to do, and lining up clear objectives for players is our primary goal here. Like, if we could give you a clear objective, so we could get you to the point where now you could participate, build ships, and then you're like, well, you know, I really want that MP destroyer, or I want that Tech 2 Reaper interceptor, which is phenomenal at this point. That's when you start making the buying decisions on the true game economy, you know, the peer-to-peer economy that people are spending time on. All right, I'm going to swap out chips here as you queue me up a new question. Because I think I digressed completely, so sorry about that.
I mean, keep the information coming, fast. We are loving this. Okay, so I've got another question here, and it's from Nastashi from Starlight. Any timeline for releasing the next phase of implementations in the roadmap form as you provided in the past? Well, you kind of already gave us like a little rundown on what's coming up, right?
Yeah, so basically, like we have an official roadmap on our wiki. We have one that we're also having on the Steam page. We're going to be updating that. Now we're kind of fine-tune it because at this point I say we're feature complete minus persistence and a couple other creatures and organic harvesting. So those are all scheduled to roll out throughout this event. So this Star Trek event, this open beta release that we have hit now, or we'll be hitting tomorrow officially, is where we start introducing a lot of these features we've kind of kept in the sidelines as we've been improving and getting them ready and feature testing them and cold testing them on prod and hidden systems that you guys don't know about. So it's exciting. So one thing that we're going to do is we'll have a roadmap updated probably within the next few weeks that kind of gives a better visibility of like, all right, this is exactly when persistence is going to hit. This is when you need to worry about insurance. Things like, actually there was a great question someone had written onto the blog post last night that I replied to, which was about, you got a ship destroyed and he wasn't very clear on how to use the insurance system to bring it back. So I walked him through there, but those are things that we need to address in the tutorial. The other things we need to address are when you undock and your ship's uninsured, you should be prompted and be like, hey, there's a danger point. The other thing that's been brought up, and these have been questions, is, well, I have a ship and I'm in core space. What is the protection core space provides me? Right now, the GFI security has some bugs and we're working those out. But GFI security comes in and tries to protect you. But a player who's determined to destroy you is still going to be able to destroy you if they hit you hard. And then you're going to lose your ship and items. And this one's kind of a debate in the design team because, EVE Online, which is a game that we've used as a great example, one of the games I like to play, and it's a good example of this free economy space MMO, that can happen. You can lose your items, and it creates a frustration moment. And I'm a big proponent that, we kind of need to let it happen. Other than the Soul system where there's just zero PvP, ideally, outside of events, we want to have every system open to PvP, even if there's consequence and the player who attacks you is going to get destroyed or gets marked as a criminal. So I'm back in, so I'm going to open that up.
So every system eventually?
Every system will be open except for Soul. Soul we're going to probably keep as is. For just to keep a new player safe haven.
Yeah.
But
Okay. So is the Haven. All right. You get
but when you're
that.
flying, like there's risk, and with persistent destruction of modules, I mean, there's a huge risk coming up now.
Yeah.
You need to, in one thing we're kind of been waiting for here is people get their manufacturing facilities up and running, and we're seeing a good clip of new items coming out. We actually had the first Tech 5 item discovered.
Wait.
Yeah, I know we
What?
haven't announced this yet, but a user discovered it. We'll be releasing it shortly. We had to make some adjustments to the display system for Tech 5. We were actually missing the frame in the game engine because we hadn't expected someone to get there, but it was an extremely lucky roll on the Text 4 to invent
Yeah.
one Tech 5. So we'll have an official announcement for that. But
Holy.
yeah, it was incredible when we went back and we were verifying the logs, and like this person deconstructed 12,000 items. They had the skill points. They just reached the level where they have an invention chance with a Tech 4, and bam, they rolled a 3% roll for a Tech 5.
Wow. Wow. Tech 5 already.
Yeah, I know. We
That is good stuff.
It's a module. It's definitely not a ship. That's going to probably
Yeah.
be a little bit wow.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so now I have the auction edition version of the Warbird, and as you can see, this ship is massive. This is exactly to scale. So in the Star Trek universe, Enterprise D and this are scale 1-to-1,
Yeah.
and you can see it has a lot of open room there.
Yeah, yeah. It looks amazing. It looks absolutely amazing. The design of this ship is beautiful. Holy wow. I think I want a Warbird now.
Honestly, the Warbirds are probably one of my favorite ones in the game. Actually, I'm a fan of our smaller ships. I think they're highly underrated. I love the Kepler. The Kepler transport just looks good, and,
Uh-huh.
and this might be because I have a better understanding of the future items coming in the game.
Yeah.
Smaller ships have an advantage that larger ships don't. Like the larger ships are hard to navigate in tight areas. So you have a nebula filled with asteroids. I'd rather be in a smaller ship, just so I could get through it quicker. And there's aspects to discovery where smaller ships really come in handy. I think that's what we're gonna see.
Interesting. That's like a little leak there, eh?
Oh, I know. That's why they don't let me talk. I leak too much.
Okay, that's great, Faz, man. Let's go to another one. All right. So wait. So that question actually leads on to another one. He says to build on guild structure, will privately owned stargates and stations follow the same basics crafting platform as implemented in game now, or will they have a separate achievement-based progress line? And that's from the Stashy as well.
So it's going to be a mix. So there will be a
Okay.
quest line that needs to be completed to get a certificate for setting up a station. Basically, you're getting permission for station setup. And once you
Okay.
have that permission for station setup, then you need to declare where where you want that station to be. There's going to be some exclusionary zones. Once that declaration is made, a unconstructed version of the station will be deployed, and the station's still dockable. And you're actually going to see this first in an NPC questline mission that's going to come up, a global event, where users are going to have to bring over workers, colonists, resources, and complete the station. And for the percentage that users bring to complete, there's going to be a reward table, and everyone's going to get paid out from that, with rare ships, modules, and some other fun stuff.
Oh wow.
So this is one of the events that we talked about actually a few weeks back, or a few months back in November, when we first dropped the colonist and personal transportation system. And
Yeah.
we put it on the sidelines as we wanted to make sure we got to feature complete, which is where we're at now, and get to open beta, and now we'll start rolling this content out. So there'll be some fun work there, but it's going to work in a similar way. So once people see how this works in this event, that's going to be how it's going to have to work for a guild. And that's going to be a high bar, because it's going to take the entire gameplay base to bring the resources required to set this up. It's going to be that same amount of resources, or potentially more depending on how the balance works out, for someone to create a private station. So the neat thing about this is, using our new mission loot system that you can do random rolls, we're going to let the guilds basically create their own mission to let other people participate, but they're going to have to supply the loot that's going to be rolled on.
Yo, wow. Holy crap, man. This game is, I've already put so many hours into this game, but I could just already see myself putting in even more, like, coming up now.
Oh man, the first
Like,
player on the station, the first, when the creatures come into the game. I mean, you're just
okay,
hours
guys,
finding this, yes.
all right. I'm about to divert away from the Discord questions and ask our
Sure.
own personal questions
Go for
first, yeah?
Your prerogative, your stream. Go
Yeah.
for it.
When space whales,
So,
please.
I got a video queued up here. So this is just a video I wanted to show. So this is one of the creatures coming in. I think we've done screenshots, but this is just a swarm of piranha-like creatures just attacking the ship. This is from an early dev build. But I figured I want to share there. As we talked about before the stream, I wish I had a few more of that current videos ready to show you.
Holy. Look at the space piranhas, eh?
So we have, I believe, 4 different creatures or 5 different creatures coming in, one of them being the space whale. They are in testing currently. We have them set up and ready to start spawning in just like other NPCs. Their ability to spawn is already in the game. It's just how we want to roll it out. So we're talking pretty close. There's one design challenge we're still debating on how harvesting of biohexium gas works. So you use your harvesting beams on the creatures without killing them, you get gas. If you kill them, you get nothing. Basically, kind of creating a decision, or if you do kill one of these creatures, what's the reward drop for them? Those are the technicalities we want to get into.
Wow.
So, definitely some interesting stuff coming up. So yeah, creatures. I would say within this 6-week event of Star Trek, this is our we've hit open beta. We're going live. Yeah. We're pushing persistence during this time. We're pushing module loss. We're pushing the insurance system's going to go live. So I would say with 90% certainty we'll have creatures live before this event's up, or right as the event's ending. For players to start exploring, discovering, and then some questline missions involving creatures as well.
Wow, that is amazing. I've been wanting space whales since I first started playing this game. When I first started playing this game and I saw a picture of a space whale, I was like, okay, when is that? When can I see that?
That's right? The carrot there. We had it in there for a little while, and then we took it out just because it's such a fundamental part of the lore of the CSC universe, because unlike a lot of space games, we have organic creatures that make a fundamental role. And biohexium gas, is all who play the game, is very much needed for crafting. Right now you can only get them from drones, but we need more supply. There's not enough biohexium in the universe.
Okay.
So the creatures are
farming quite a bit, so
yeah, well, as long as you're getting enough, then I feel good.
Yeah.
Designers, take note. Make sure all Axe's recipes go up 200% on biohexium. He has too much.
No.
So that's where we want to get to. So biohexium will come from both the creatures and the organic asteroids, which actually look pretty cool. They glow. They have a lot of cool elements, and the harvesting beams will make a big difference. Now, with the organic system comes the other resources that, if you look on the tables, you see in the marketplace, food and other commodities. This actually ties in more to another aspect of the gameplay, which is market trading. And there's going to be a market trading system rolling out where you'll see NPC stations, or all these stations right now, putting up orders for certain commodities or certain people. And those orders will be put up both in the marketplace and both in missions. And delivering for those will be high tier rewards, potential rank rewards, and continue the progression of the game itself. A main goal here is to get people to get enough to where they could craft components for ships and eventually craft the ships themselves.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my word, this is insane, fans. I'm loving it. let's move on to a different question here. This one's that's a bit technical one. When are we getting refineries on ships and research labs from Nabodid in Empire Guild?
So research labs is directly tied into the use cases of personnel. So
Yeah,
that goes into one of our previous blog posts. So I would expect that around like a 1.1, probably not in the 1.0 sphere. Uh, Maybe we'll see. There's enough to do where we're going to try to increase the stability and the usability of the game and lock down the core features which we currently have. The refinery in ships, that's
yeah,
something that we talked about for the prospector and
yeah,
the not Voyager, the Vulcan Harvester. And those
yeah,
ships, you could tell from the art, have some type of like refining tumblers in them already. So TBD on that one. It'll be in the 1.0 series. It'll come out as an update when it's ready and it's working. As you know, the refining system's had its challenges, and we're still trying to lock them down and make sure we get all the bugs worked out in station before we bring them to another area.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so,
Okay.
just to clarify, though, refining on ships, for people to understand, the main goal for those is you're going to be able to process down your raw ore into refined ore to conserve on space. It'll be a limited refinery in the sense that you're not going to be able to make components out of it, just to be clear.
Okay, but in terms of timing on how long it would take to get the refining done, would that be the same as like workshops, or
That's a
would it
good
be
question.
different?
There
Mm,
is the talk of having this different, so having a different table, mainly to kind of expedite compression. But then
hmm.
as soon as we do that, there opens up a lot of exploits, but somewhat limited because the quantity of the ships are limited. So
Yeah.
the simple idea could snowball real quick. Hence why we were trying to take a more thoughtful approach on this feature set. And
Yeah.
there's plenty to do right now in the game for sure. But I think the refining in those ships will add a competitive advantage. In-ship refining or compressions is is going to be an advanced feature, but you definitely see it probably before 1.0 or at
Okay.
1.0.
Okay. Okay. That's pretty cool. Definitely. That timing is definitely going to be an issue, right? Um. Okay. So I've got another question here from Mineru from Dark Horizon. When will we get MEA ore?
Ah, yes.
That's one question.
MEA
Okay.
Ore has been like at the top of my list here for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Um, so we have a ratio that we've pretty much settled on MEA conversion to game ore, and that's going to be a substantial amount of ore that we're going to introduce into the game. So right now, what we're working on is a way to distribute it in, and like, well, we have to distribute it in and supply it to you guys at a station that you're at. So we're working on the system just to generate and deliver and make sure it matches up, and then we're going through and making sure that we're accounting for where the blockchain versions of the ore exist. And then there was also a pre-alpha set of ore that was given as a reward for pre-alpha objectives that need to come in. Right now, as we're getting the Star Trek event launched, I'd say probably within the next week or two, which I've said before, so I'm going to say imminently. Let's go with that. It hasn't been forgotten. It's at the top of the list here. We are going to bring the MEA ore in. The main thing we've gone back and forth is make sure that MEA ore is worth it for the players who have now waited for it. And one thing we are going to
Yeah.
do, and I think we've talked about this before, is MEA only had 12 of the 20-something resources we have in the game. So we're actually going to extend the MEA ore to include all the resources. So there will be percentages of other resources you get for participating in MEA as well. The
Right.
ratio will be relative to your total collected amounts.
Right. 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 That sounds like good news then.
Yeah.
Getting some more ore in you know you initially started off with, so that's pretty cool. Okay. The second question is, can we get some discussion on how master variants will work? One
Ah.
thing I'm curious about this is when crafting with variants, will your higher tier invention also get the variants if successful as well?
So inventions will not get the variance if successful. The variance will only apply to that current tech level you're trying to shoot for.
Okay.
So the variance option basically is you'll get a grid of 3 by 3. This 3 by 3 grid you're going to be able to put in refined ore. Depending on the refined ore you put in, there will be a bonus multiplier added to that variance of the object. Once a variance is created, it works kind of like invention right now. Our design team verifies and releases it into the game world, and that now is owned by that player. There's a lot of things with variances we were trying to to do and try to look at, like how can we make variances almost like a not limited time, but like almost an exclusive to the player who discovers it for a set time. Setting a tax rate based on the variance, setting an automatic like if you buy this variance, you owe this royalty, and a lot of that there's a snowball effect of complexity that comes from that we might just hold aside for like a 1.2 or 1.3 and maybe do a variance 1.0 where we get the
Okay.
variances in. But similar to ship bonuses, what you'll notice is variances will have bonus value. So, for example, if you make a Tech 1 FTL modifier that normally gives you 0.2% to the speed of light, 2.2% increase to your FTL speed, you might
Yeah.
be able to come up with a variance on that that gives you the 0.2%, but it also buffs your armor 10%, or buffs your hull 10%, or provides increased sublight speed. And those will show up as a bonus with that variance. And then that variance will get its own asset ID number, and it'll be a whole separate item that shows up.
Wow.
Again, I think I did a better job explaining through this. The post is not out of date. That's still pretty accurate in how the variant system will work. But
Okay.
we got to harden what we currently have. I think we have everything here for a solid game. The
Yeah.
main objective, and I think this is important for all CSC players, especially the ones been around, is let's bring in new users. And honestly, this
Yeah.
is where we need your help, guys.
Of
Spread
course.
the
Of
word.
course.
The big thing for us right now is to get more players who purchase the game through Steam to leave reviews. Those reviews will really help. The game is very complex, and a lot of players that find it organically on Steam haven't gone through the full process to learn all the ins and outs of it. So it's easier for them to quickly leave a negative review. To combat that, really, if we get 100 new players through this event to buy it through Steam and understand it the way you guys understand it, understand the passion, the potential of this game, and where it's actually leading to, and what currently
Yeah.
happens in this universe, which is, I mean, we had economic sanctions the other day. There was this, I think 2 weeks ago, massive battles in the Kepler or K9 over Trilite. I mean, the wars. I mean, I'm sitting back here reading through this, and I'm like, can I just write this up into like an economic report, because it is phenomenal the depth that we're seeing in the
Yep.
game at such an early stage. I mean, it is interesting stuff. I played Eve for years, and there's a handful of these things that happen, but we're
Mhm.
talking about this happening on like a daily basis with a dedicated core community that's slowly growing. So
Yeah.
good times.
No, for sure, man. Like, I think people also forget, like, yeah, this game is not, even though it is closer to full release yet, but it's still not there just yet, right? But because there's been so much added into it, it's like you can easily forget that, right? So
Yeah.
definitely,
It's what we're going to try to communicate better on our Steam page updates. We're going to redo that content, really kind of drive in, like,
mhm,
in development progress. We're in open beta. It's feature complete. You could technically grind your way to almost anything in the game once all the updates are in.
mhm,
Right now, there's only one ship that routinely drops at a really low rate. They're blueprints, which is the battle cruiser. I think there's 12 of
yeah,
them or so in the game. But
yeah,
this is going to be applied to all ships. So just to be clear, any NPC ship of a specific type will have a chance to drop its blueprint. It will be in the loot table for all NPC ships. That's pirate ships. Drones won't, because players can't fly drones. Yeah,
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was gonna
yeah.
say that. I was gonna say
But
Jones, not Jones
not
as well.
drones,
Yeah,
not
yeah, okay,
space
cool.
whales. There will never
Yeah,
be flying space whales. I'm sorry, guys.
and not GFI security as well. Right?
Well, if you can
Their
take them out,
ship blueprints.
we're giving them a buff. But you will get the blueprint to that ship type. So if someone wants to build an MP Voyager, there
Yeah.
are missions and spawns that drop. There's combat voyagers in the pirate factions, FSC. There's the trade faction voyagers. Taking those out will give a chance to drop those blueprints in an update coming here very soon. So a lot of these updates aren't even client based. We're just updating the loot tables across the board now that we've reached open beta and we're filling the game with content.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's actually another thing to point out. As you see these missions update, do not expect the same loot that you were currently seeing. Loot is getting a complete overhaul. Loot will be valuable. Wow. Loot will be directly tied to the difficulty of the ship. You might see some NPCs get a difficulty bump in terms of damage they could deal or damage they could take. So the game is going to go through a fundamental change just on the reward progressions that you can get. So definitely be on the lookout for that.
Oh man, oh man.
You're never gonna sleep again, Alex. This is your life.
Listen, I've been sold. You know, when I first started playing this game, I was mining till the wheels fell off in non-persistence, right?
Yeah.
In a prospector, I was out there in Proxima mining, you know, until the wheels fell off, right? And I didn't even get to keep that all, you know. So I'm committed.
Yeah, and that's a good. The good thing is, like, I think everyone's going to see a massive benefit to mining and manufacturing. I think we've already started with the T2 changes. By the way, the T2 changes applied across the board. So any new TT ships come in, take a look at those stats because they're going to be substantial. T3s will also have substantial increases. Around T4, T5, T6 is where you're going to start seeing them more like what they originally were, where you're seeing base stats increases. But we definitely want to give the users the something to work towards here with the T increases. Like, really reward you for that effort, because it's a substantial effort to get a ship built. And honestly, we need more miners. We don't have enough resources in the game. We need dedicated mining divisions, so we're trying to figure out ways to incentivize them through missions or help new players coming in. If all they could do is come in and mine for some of the construction factions and the manufacturing guilds that are forming, that would be good enough. And I think you'll see that change. That change should kick in pretty well with the Corvette missions. Getting more people into Corvettes, giving them the ability to substantially contribute to the game economy, I think is key here.
Wow. Yes, that sounds really good. That sounds really good. Okay, I'll move on to a different question. This one's coming from Unity Dark Horizon. Any updates on stacking nerf?
Stacking nerf?
Yeah.
Stacking nerf.
So I think maybe it's towards like, you know, if you're stacking your shields, right?
Yes. Okay, that nerf. Correct. So we've been experimenting with basically diminishing the value of a stacked module if it's identical. Basically, if you put the same shield module in, each one that you put progressively will give you less of a bonus. Now, if you put different shield modules in, that's fine. And that's kind of what we want to encourage. It just creates a more tactical system. Like with anything, any type of change like that, this is non-programmatic. It's more of a design and testing type of change. It's on queue, but I think right now primary focus is solving the new user conundrum, the new user feeling valuable in the system. We need new users to come in and be able to participate and feel like they could contribute at the level of some of the seasoned users, maybe not to that same extent. So that's where all our design efforts go in creating that content bubble to kind of help new users acclimate to the game. Once you've acclimated, like once you've put 100 hours in, you understand what mining can do for you, how construction and deconstruction works. Once you find some of the hidden gems that are in the game, then at that point, like this is when like the other details start becoming more prevalent, like the stacking multiple modules. So right now, our entire focus is new players. We're in open beta, game's open. We're no longer trying to shy anyone away from it. Come test it out, find us bugs, break the system, let us know how you did it so we can make it stronger. Let's get this game to moon.
Hell.
10,000 players tomorrow, Axe. Can you do that for me?
I'll try my hardest.
My
hardest now. I mean, the Star Trek event is going to be crazy tomorrow, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
that's definitely going to start attracting new players for
Oh,
sure.
absolutely. I think the Star
Yeah,
Trek event, we're going to get some Steam banners going as an update
yeah,
event happens. But I think the key really is our community. You guys are tuning in on Discord, on all our different social media channels. Like, we need to start spreading the word of what CSC has and its improvements and its challenges too. I never shy away from criticism.
yeah,
There are problems with the game. Let us know. DM our mods, send in a support ticket. Will address it. We'll address even sometimes our changes we make aren't always on point. We'll make
yeah,
fixes back. So happy
yeah.
to support you guys. I think we're over an hour now for this stream, so maybe we'll give it another 10 minutes there and call it.
Okay, sure. So can you talk a bit about insurance?
Oh yeah, sure.
Like how that's going to work, and certain prices we may be expecting.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have the price table in front of me, so we'll make sure
Okay.
that gets up soon. But basically, insurance will work on several tiers. The top tier is basically what every FF ship will automatically always have, and that basically
Yeah.
gives you an instant replication of your ship with a cooldown. So the cooldown works as intended. It works like this. So if your Voyager Vulcan Harvester FF gets blown up, you go to
Yeah.
any station, you could use the insurance system, it'll return the ship, not the modules or anything else in it, just the ship, and it'll replicate it instantly and it's available for you. That's for the first destruction. On the second destruction,
Okay.
there might be a 10-minute cooldown before you could replicate it. Third destruction, half an hour. Fourth destruction, an hour. Fifth destruction, 3 hours. It keeps going up
Wow.
to the max, I believe it is 72 or 96 hours. And this is back-to-back destructions. But that's on a
Yeah.
cooldown, so this is on a 2-week window. So if you
Okay.
have 20 destructions in a 2-week window, you're probably playing the game wrong, and that's why your
Yeah.
cooldowns are going so long. After the 2-week
Yeah.
window from that first destruction ends, it resets and you're back to instant respawn.
Oh, right, right,
And
right.
that's how that will work for anyone who has this GFI premium insurance. This will be a GFC cost for non FF ships. For FF ships, it's standard. For the rest of the insurances, the other 3 levels we have, they're all GRP only. So this is playthrough game. They provide either the components to manufacture the ship, the GRP Galactic Ledger estimated value,
Yeah.
Galactic Asset Ledger estimated value, Gale,
Yeah.
or so the GRP for the ship, or the modules required to construct the ship. So
Wow.
basically, it'll be a player choice at that point, and depending on the level of insurance you get, it will tell you how much of that you get. For example, the basic insurance, which is really cheap and everyone should just peep on their ship, they could get GRP for that ship, the GRP estimated value for the ship, or the modules required to construct that ship. But you'd only get about 60% of the modules and 60% of the value. The higher the insurance,
Wow.
the more you get from it. The top level GRP insurance will give you 100%. So you should be able to rebuild that ship right away. I think there's one other feature I'm forgetting about this, so I'm going to have to look and make sure we get this on the blog post just so I don't send any misinformation and get marked
Yeah.
on Twitter
Yeah.
for misinformation.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, so
Okay.
there's a tiered system on this. We'll make sure a post goes up, and it'll be pretty good. Next question.
Right. Yeah. Next question is, um, from CB Dan. Is a deconstruct of all, of the same modules
Yes.
in development? Okay.
Yes, that one's an easy one. Yeah, absolutely. We've
Any
heard
ETA on that, or-
we've heard from the power players a mass deconstruct option is coming relatively soon. It's actually not too difficult for us to get. We're just doing some optimization and handling how deconstruct logic works on the server side just to make it a little bit quicker. And then with that, we can do a mass deconstruct to allow the power players who've accumulated a lot to deconstruct quicker. Just like you could mass consume a bunch of items.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds excellent. Okay. I've got another one. This one, quick one. from Captain Obvious here. It says, will there be a buff to cargo capacity for the packer and the carrier? Because cargo seems a bit low for a pure cargo ship. And are royalties still a thing? I snuck another one in
Yeah,
there.
there you go, no problem. So the Packer should have a buff to cargo capacity. It basically gets its buff based on the modules that get put on there. If it doesn't, that's probably an oversight, so we'll take a look and see.
Yeah.
So the Packer should have that. The carrier, while it is a transport, it's primarily designed to be a ship carrier. So it believe I have to double check with the design team before put my foot in my mouth here. But I believe it has a
Okay.
buff. If not, it's designed specifically for ship movement, so it might not get that buff.
Okay.
And then what was the last thing you snuck in there?
Is royalties still a thing?
In the works. There's a lot of complexities in making a proper royalty system in the game, and
Yeah.
like how it applies and when it applies and how it expires. So I'm not going to say it is 100% thing, but it's just something in our mind. And look, as the game grows, as our user base grows, as we get like more of a path of like CSC is a long-term viable successful game, which is the trajectory we're seeing right now. We're amazed that I think the other day we have a concurrent user count in the 120s. It's higher than Steam because there's a lot of players that play without Steam, just on standalone clients. It's pretty remarkable, and we're seeing that number grow consistently, and we're seeing our daily active users now grow consistently ever since the tutorial went live. So there is a lot of growth potential, and I think the key is, and make sure we don't get our eye off the prize. Make sure new players coming in understand the game, can play it well, have enough content. You guys have been really helpful and supportive. I've seen a lot of you guys answer questions for new players in the chat, so that's awesome. But we, as devs, need to also do a better job of exposing these features and giving them something to do.
Yeah.
So I think my answer is going to be everything's still on the table, but we have a primary goal now that we're in open beta. That is get new players in, help them understand the game, grow the CSC community. Let's get to 1,000 concurrent users in a month. Come on. Sounds like a good plan.
Wow, I mean, it's definitely not out of the realms of possibility, so,
Yeah, we'll do the work
to make it happen.
Yeah, we'll do the work to support it, and we'll get the servers running, we'll get the bugs fixed. We need the community's help to spread the word, and we're going to do marketing on our end. So I think we'll have a good time.
Okay. Faz, I know you're really busy, but I've got one more question.
Sure.
This is a pretty easy one. Right? And this is coming from Axe himself, yeah? The shield and hull meter has changed and is now in the bottom right, right? And is there going to be any development on that? Are we going to be able to move it back to like the top left, or are we going to have any customization features where we could, like, let's just say we don't want it in the bottom right, are we going to be able to like move things like on the the heads up display?
So those items are currently locked. So the power bar and stuff, you're not going to be able to move. The controls are going to remain there. We made some changes based on feedback. We brought the stop button, manual control, and slipstream back down. But we've heard a lot about the ship status, being able to see the numbers. Everyone kind of liked it on the top left. So we're going to add a button to the top corner of the UI at the bottom left that will open up a new, basically brings back the power bar at the top. So you'll see your ship hull. That will probably be in the near term, but don't have any other plans to move that stuff around.
Okay. Great. Faz, thank you so much, man.
Oh, one thing, I don't know if players have noticed. I know it was in the design notes, and I'm just going to bring this up. If you unlock your power bar now, there's a button right next to the lock that actually changes the width of your icons. So they don't stack 4x4. You can stack them wider. And then lock it back.
I noticed that. As soon as that came out in the notes, I changed mine. Because remember when you came into my stream one time, I did say, "Can we change it back to how it was before?" But
So now it's modifiable. Not only that, as of the last update, that saves. So whatever setting you have on there, it gets saved. Ooh, someone's inside my warbird, checking it out from the inside.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed it before, but there was like I think someone flew a D through it, like was in the middle of.
Yeah. These bigger ships, the collision avoidance will only work so well unless we let people get stuck. It's actually kind of cool. Look at it there. All right, neat.
Oh yeah. Also, in those modules, you were still not able to rearrange it the exact same way we would like, right? I did notice that. I did raise that a while ago, but
This rearranging here right now will work correctly. If it's not working, make sure that's ticketed again. But this should work fine.
okay.
In loadout right now, where you used to have to rearrange your modules, that does not work. Notice that on the last bug pass. So basically, we're going to disable that, and rearranging is only going to happen once you're in the ship.
Okay. Okay. All right. Then we'll look into that and you know, see if we can break that. But people in the chat saying it's not working though. Just FYI.
Good to know. Well, I think we have our devs in the chat too, so they'll take a look. We will be doing a patch later tonight, just getting the last minute fixes in. We got a couple things that got brought up from the last patch. Yeah. So we'll try to get as many as we can today. Once we hit the event tomorrow, we are going to be pretty focused on just making sure the crate sale goes well and the auctions go well. And going into next week, before the 4th, when we go live with the in-game event, Rift's opening and mission stars, probably expect another patch to take care of any outlying issues.
Yeah, okay. That sounds good, Faz.
But I'm looking forward to seeing players in the new Star Trek ship tomorrow. It's going to be exciting times.
Oh my word! If I want a ball cube, So if I can get a ball cube, I'll be.
It's up to the RNG gods at this point. Out of my control.
I've been praying hard, Faz. I've been praying hard. Don't worry.
Well, we will have a post going up today. We'll just give massive final specifics on the auction, the crate sales, the quantities. Similar to the last time, you know, we will have a. We have actually not similar last time. We have 3 different tier levels with limited supplies. Each one has different weightings, but we did, for the lowest tier level, drop it by $10. So it's $15 a crate, so you can have more rolls and more chances.
Yeah. Oh man, tomorrow's gonna be epic, in one way or another.
Good times.
Yeah. No, but seriously, Faz, thank you so much for this.
Hey, thank you for co-broadcasting and being the moderator on this impromptu Star Trek AMA. So the goal is, just in general, we should be doing more of these throughout the event. We have a lot of new content coming out. As we're in open beta now and we're unlocking all the features, you know, the biggest thing is going to be persistence. And persistence is going to be probably painful for some people, losing your modules. So we're going to try to roll it out in a way where you can get used to it. Might just, instead of losing 50% of your modules, we might start with 10% for the first day or two, get people used to that, and then you got to remember, you're about to be destroyed, bug out, or make sure to have repair drones. Or, actually, underused module, when we look at the statistics, is the fluxes. The fluxes repair your hull instantaneously almost compared to repair drones.
Yeah. But was there an issue with the repair drone cooldown time? Because I feel like one of those, I'm not sure if that's final or whatever, but there was one that was, the cooldown time was pretty
high.
Pretty beast.
We saw that one. I believe that one's either in queue to be updated or it was balanced by reducing the quantity. So we'll follow up on that. But other than repair drones, the fluxes are going to be your escape valve here. If you're about to be destroyed, have a flux on there, trigger it. They should be balanced now to provide the right amount of hull relative to their size after we did the hull updates. But that's your safety net. If you're about to be destroyed by a drone, don't lose your modules over a drone. Get the heck out of there.
Yeah. Don't want to be losing those T3s and T4s to NPCs, right?
Yeah, or run a cloak. Even if you cloak a little early and get back in.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good, Faz, man. Thank
you
so much.
Well, thank you so much for doing the stream, and
no worries.
I am going to call it. Oh, no, not that one. There. Thanks for tuning in.
There goes the warbird. Oh my word.
Have a good one, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the CSC Dev stream. We'll have more for you. Stay tuned and fly safe.